Hey everybody, welcome back to part 2. I just wanted to make a small clarification to what I did in the first part. There was a small mistake, and that was on number 3. Number 3, I said that this was going to be 7x, when this should have been minus, because you know you're supposed to distribute this minus to both parts. So this right here should have been 25x, meaning this answer right here was 25, and it was minus 25. So sorry for that small mistake. Alright, so now let's get back to finishing up this video. This is part 2 from 11 to 20, so let's get going. First thing I want to do is factor this denominator, and it comes out to have the same values as these two. So I know that the LCD for these two will also be x minus 2, x minus 4. So I know if I cross multiply, this gets the x minus 4, this gets the x minus 2. So when I distribute, I get 2x minus 8 plus x minus 2. Now when I combine like terms, I wind up getting 3x minus 10, and in the bottom there's a 5. Now remember, when you have things that are exactly the same, you can cancel them out. So these are exactly the same. So the answer that we're left with is 3x minus 10 over 5. Alright, the next one, what you might want to do first before you do anything is rewrite it. And what I mean by rewrite it is flip this denominator before you even start factoring. And then it becomes a problem like the last test. And take this fraction bar and change it to multiplication. So now we can start factoring. Numbers that add up to -2 that multiply to -3 are x minus 3 and x plus 1. Numbers that add up to 6 but multiply to give you 5 will be x plus 5 and x plus 1. And then if you look here on the other side, these are both divisible by 2, so we can divide this by 2. And when you divide this by 2, that means you're factoring out a 2, and you're left with x plus 3. And then this last one will factor to x plus 3, x minus 3. So now once you have all your factors, you cross out anything that's diagonal or top to bottom. So we can cross out these two, we can cross out these two, and we wind up being able to cross out these two. So what we have left is 2 on the top, x plus 5 on the bottom, and that's the answer to the question. So remember, first thing you want to do is flip this denominator and take the fraction bar and make it multiplication, and then it becomes a question like we had on the last test. Okay, the next one will do the same thing. We'll flip the denominator and change this fraction bar from division to multiplication, and now we're just going to cross out common factors. So normally you would think that this is your final answer, 3x plus 6 over x plus 2. But both of these numbers here are divisible by 3. So if we factor out a 3, you'll find out that x plus 2 is your answer. And look, we can cancel out from top to bottom. So the answer to this question is actually 3. So if you left it like this, you're going to lose a couple of points because you didn't take it one step further. Alright, the next problem is not on the test, but you should know how to rewrite it from Unit 5. Whenever we have a negative exponent, that means you drop it to the denominator. Same thing here. Drop that negative exponent to the denominator. And now we have a question just like we had for number 8. It's almost identically the same question. So we're going to get our common denominator, which in this case will be x. So if you cross multiply, 1 goes there, x goes there, so we're left with 3 plus 4x. And we'll fix the order later. If you cross multiply here, 3 gets x, and 4 gets 1, so you're left with 3x minus 4. Notice that these are the same, so we can cancel them out. And you're left with 3 plus 4x over 3x minus 4. Remember, order matters, so 4x should come in the front, and 3 will go in the back. And that is the final answer. And that ends the complex fraction section, which went from 8 to 14. Alright, now to the solving section. The solving section is all about an LCD. So here we have an LCD. The only CD, the common denominator we have, is x. So our LCD will be x. That means everything, there are 3 parts here, and all 3 parts will get multiplied by the LCD. So if we look here, we have x times x, which is x squared, divided by 1 is x squared. 24 times x is 24x, divided by x. These cancel out and you're left with just 24. 2 times x is 2x, divided by 1 is 2x. So right now you see an x squared. We can probably turn this into a trinomial by shifting this to the left. So if we shift, it's minus 2x. And we're left with x squared minus 2x minus 24 equals 0. So we'll just have to factor. 2 numbers that add up to negative 2 but multiply to negative 24 are negative 6 and 4. Set both of those factors equal to 0, and you wind up getting x equals 6 and x equals negative 4. So now you know you need to check it. So we're going to do the first one, which will be 6 minus 24 over 6 equals 2. Well, 24 over 6 is 4. 6 minus 4 is 2. Those work out, so this is okay. Then we'll do the next one. Negative 4 minus 24 over negative 4 equals 2. Well, a negative divided by negative is a positive, so that's negative 4 plus 6, which is also 2. So that works out. So they both work out, and we don't have NPS. Alright, the next one, the LCD. We have an x here and an x here, so the LCD will definitely have an x in it. But because of this 2, the LCD will be 2x. LCD means you're going to take what's in common, and whatever's left you'll multiply to it. So everybody gets 2x. So in this one, 2x times 1 is 2x, divided by x is just 2. 5 times 2x is 10x, divided by 2x is just 5. 3 times 2x is 6x. So now we have a nice, easy two-step equation to solve. So what you're going to do on both sides, minus 5, divide by 6, and negative 3/6 reduces to negative 1/2. Try not to put 0.5. Alright, so now we're going to check that. So we have 1 over negative 1/2 equals 5 over 2 times negative 1/2 plus 3. Well, if you put that in your calculator, you end up getting negative 2. And 5 divided by 2 times negative 1/2 will give you negative 5. So negative 5 plus 3 is negative 2. This checks out, which means that checks out. Okay, the next one is what we did today in class, which is cross multiplying. So it means x gets multiplied to x, that's x squared, and 4 gets multiplied to x plus 3. So make sure you distribute the 4 all the way through, so you get 4x plus 12. If you get 4x plus 3, this will not be able to factor. So now we need to shift everything over so that we can factor. So that means everything gets shifted to the x squared because you want to keep this positive. You really want to keep this positive. So now we have x squared minus 4x minus 12 equals 0. So now what we need to do is find two numbers that add up to 4 but multiply to negative 12. And the only time that happens is when it's x minus 6 and x plus 2. So x minus 6 equals 0, x plus 2 equals 0. So that means x equals 6 and x equals negative 2. Alright, I'm running out of room, so I'm going to check in green. Alright, so I'm going to do 4 over 6 equals 6 over 6 plus 3. 4 over 6 is 2/3, and 6 over 6 plus 3 is 6/9. 6/9 is also equal to 2/3, so it checks out. So that one is fine. Okay, now for the other one, I'm going to check in dark blue. So you always have to check both answers. So 4 over negative 2 equals negative 2 over negative 2 plus 3. 4 over negative 2 is negative 2. Negative 2 plus 3 is 1. Well, negative 2 over 1 is negative 2. That also checks out. So both answers check out, and we have no extraneous solutions. Okay, the next one is also what we did today. It is cross multiplying. So you're just going to cross multiply. 3 gets multiplied to 3x plus 7, and 5 gets multiplied to 2x plus 4. Make sure you distribute all the way, and you wind up getting a simple Algebra 1 three-step equation. Get rid of the smaller variable first, and then get rid of the 20. And in this case, we don't have to divide. So now you're going to check it. And we have 3 over 2 times 1 plus 4, and 5 over 3 times 1 plus 7. This is equal to 3/6, and this is equal to 5 over 10, which we know that both of these is equal to 1/2, and it checks out. Alright, the cross multiplying ones are always nice. Alright, next one is we have a common denominator question. So the LCD in this question will be x minus 2, because it's the only common denominator that we have anyway. So we're going to multiply that by x minus 2, multiply that by x minus 2, and don't forget to multiply the 2 by x minus 2. So multiplying these two together, divided by x minus 2, these cancel out, and you're left with x plus 3. Distribute the 2, and you're left with 2x minus 4. Here, there's an x minus 2 on the top, x minus 2 on the bottom. They cancel out as well, and you're left with 5. So now we just have to combine like terms, or as Jeffrey calls it, CLT. And you're left with 3x minus 1 equals 5. A really nice, simple one-step equation. So we have, two-step equation. 3x equals 6. Divide by 3, x equals 2. Once again, we have to check it to make sure. In this last question, it worked out, so we could check. But here we actually have to check it. So 2 plus 3 over 2 minus 2 plus 2 equals 5 over 2 minus 2. So we get 5 over 0 plus 2 equals 5 over 0. Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. Not allowed to have that. That's a no-no. And that's the only time that you will have an extraneous solution. Since there are no other solutions here, x plus 2 was our only solution, we can put NPS. Don't forget to cross this out. If there was another solution here, then the other solution worked, then you would not say NPS. You would say that there's only one solution instead of two. Alright, we've got one more question. Ignore my question here that says challenge because you did not have a challenge on your homework. So first thing I'm going to do is factor this to see if this is the LCD. So I see that there's an x plus 2 in common and an x plus 5 in common. So since they all have both, that will be my LCD. X plus 2, x minus 5. So everybody's going to get multiplied by x plus 2 and x minus 5. So remember, if you have the same thing on top and bottom, you can cancel out. Remember, you can only cancel out when you're doing equations like 15 through 20. You cannot, I repeat, cannot cancel out from 1 through 6. Okay, so we can cancel all these out. So now you're left with 3 times x minus 5, which is 3x minus 15, plus 4 times x plus 2, which is 4x plus 8, and everything's going to be equal to 7. We no longer have a denominator because we eliminated it. So now we will CLT, or combine like terms, and we get 7x minus 7 equals 7. A lot of 7s. Add 7. You get 7x equals 14. Divide by 7. X equals 2. So how do I know that my 2 will work? Of course, I have to check it. So you have to do 3 over 2 plus 2 plus 4 over 2 minus 5 equals 7 over 2 squared minus 3 times 2 minus 10. So I got 3/4 plus 4 over negative 3 equals 7 over negative 12. Okay, put this in your calculator or use your common denominator kind of thing. I'm going to do common denominators because I'm a math teacher. So I multiply that by 4, multiply that by negative 3, and I have negative 9 over negative 12 plus 16 over negative 12. Hopefully will be equal to 7 over negative 12, and it is. Now you don't have to do this if you have a calculator, but I would prefer you show some work for your check. Alright everybody, that concludes video number 2. I hope you guys watched this. Good luck. If you can get through this whole entire packet, you will ace this test tomorrow. Alright, good luck on your test. And if you watch this video, ask me my middle name. Bye.